So I went onto Amazon and I found this little Irwin. You know, it's not a super high quality vise, but it had such great ratings, and I think it was $18. I couldn't believe it. It was like 4.5-star ratings on it. And I thought, well, you know what? I'll try it. And so it just came in the mail yesterday, and I mean, I am pleasantly surprised. I didn't have great expectations for it, but it is a 6.5-inch vise, which is a great size. It's pretty small, but it seems to be really great. The castings look good on it, but I mean, for $18, $19 prime shipped, I mean, good grief, it's just perfect for what I need. It's going to be so versatile, and we're going to put that in here right now. But man, if you're building a little table or want to get a little woodworking vise, I mean, 20 bucks, are you kidding me? How I suffered and stewed about the decision where to put this thing, but I hope I don't regret this, but I think that this is going to make the most sense. What I've decided is to go on the extreme end of the bench. And the reason why, it's not that nice to work over, well, because I can get to two sides. That's one thing. I'm just not going to be my primary vise. That's what I decided on. So we have to do a couple things. So if you want to just go the low rent model, you know, or the easy way, of course you can just bolt it right there. But I don't want that. I want this to be a vise should be, you know, people will argue, but the top of this here should be between 1/4 and 1/2 inch or so from the top. You don't want that metal sticking up here on a woodworking bench, because if you're using a plane or something, and you'll ruin your blades or your irons. And also, these vices are designed to have you put little hardwood blocks in there, which we'll do that here too. So don't worry about that. So what we need to do, because this bench is 3 inches thick, and I measured this, I need to come up, recess this vise 1/2 inch up into the bottom of the bench. And that way we can get it. And then when we put our hardwood blocks in, those will stick up proud, 1/4 inch or so. We'll plane them flat here, and then we'll have a completely flat surface right there. So if we're moving boards or we're pivoting things like this here, we don't want to have a vise sticking up where you're running into things like that. That's not what we want. We want it to be flush so that just you can use it, you know, to if you're going to screw different things down, you want it to be parallel there with the top. Just like that, and then we'll do that with the wood. So what I've done is I figured my last one I chiseled out by hand, and it was a pain. I'm going to show you on the different view here. So what I've done is I've made this little plywood jig to guide my palm router. I'm a big fan of these. I don't know how I got by so long without one. I use this all the time. So this is going to be on the bottom side. I'm just doing this as an example. So because we need to recess, we need to basically take out 1/2 inch bit of wood precisely here. And the reason being, imagine this is, flip it, you know, imagine in your mind right there, these rods and the screw have to recess down in there. That's because we want to lift that vise up. So what I did is we have this is a mortising bit here for making mortises, 1/2 inch. And so the offset from here to the edge of this is 1.5 inches. And so I overcut this jig thing 1.5 inches so I can just use it as a guide to follow here, around here. You know, I'll go back and forth like this there and router all that out, have a nice, precise, exact, you know, have exactly where I want it, and use this as a guide. So let's mount that up. We'll router this out. We'll mount the vise up and see how it works. Now I've got my router set to 1/2 inch. That's how deep I want to go. It might be a bit ambitious for this little router, but we'll try it. If it's too much for it, we can back it off. Make 2 passes. So with this routed out, now our vise and its bars and all of that and the screw are going to sit up there where we want it. So I think we made the right decision putting the vise over here. My intent for the vise, of course, is not to do woodworking on this one. It's not to do heavy work. If I'm going to do that or fabricating, I'm going to go out to the steel bench and the big, the big vise, or use the big woodworking vices. But it's primarily to hold, simple things like this, like my sharpening stones. And I can put these here, and I can have them, and I can kind of leave them there, so I'm not constantly taking them, putting them back, putting them away. I can kind of leave them here, but still leave the bench open. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next video.